Don't be surprised, I've got two names, Alfred and Sia. There's only Sia here, so it will be during networking time. Don't be surprised if you don't see Alfred. When I came in here, I actually watched Dragon's Den a lot, so I thought to myself, wow, the opportunity to play Dragon's Den, and you guys are Dragons, so I'll pretend you guys are investors. Okay. As I've been introduced, my name is Alfred Siamongonyana. I'm representing a company called Boat. It means our boat. It's a Kruger-Rand dealership. My presentation will be based on 3 sections. I'll be talking about the background of the company, then I'll be talking about why we investors invest in the business, then I'll tell you the needs of the business. The company was started last year. Started operation in July. After registering with CIPC and Financial Intelligence Center and South African Numerist Dealership, because for this we need to reach out to these institutions. Currently, what we're doing is each and every month we do promotions in shopping centers. If you're doing your shopping here in Khayelitsha, you might have seen us in Khayelitsha Mall or in Ngobela. We do a promotion every month. Also, we've got a model which we call customer referral, but it's not network marketing. We don't pay customers to talk about us, but what we do is we actually treat our customers so well so that they will have a reason to talk about us. We're doing normal things that people are doing. Every Women's Month, we sell all our women messages. Every Youth Day, we do that. However, then what is different about us is that on your birthday, we actually send you birthday cards that have been designed that have a logo. So that's what makes us different. Now, let me talk a little bit about myself, also part of the background. After electricity, I've got undergraduate and postgraduate electricity. I've worked for government under social capital unit, which deals with networking and dealing with people. I also work for organizational development. Is that 2 minutes? I actually timed myself. I've been preparing and preparing for today.
All right, so we'll take some questions. Please keep them brief and short. As well, if you have other questions or have comments or feedback, please go on to handle #THUDtv, #SABKickstart, at the hookup dinner. Questions? How much? How much?
So what do you really do? I suppose when I said the Kruger-Rand dealership, we send Kruger-Rand. So that's what the dealership does. And we send Kruger-Rand. The difference between our company and other companies that send Kruger-Rand, we actually send by installments. So we have 3 types of gold: an ounce, half ounce, and a quarter ounce. So for an ounce, we pay 510 a month for 36 months. For a half ounce, is 290 for 36 months. The quarter ounce is 140 for 48 months.
So see, what you just did now is what I needed to hear.
That's selling. That's pitching for selling. That's pitching for investors.
Yes, so you're still selling. That's what pitching is about. So just for the record,
Yes.
what you just did now is exactly what we needed to hear.
Oh, okay.
Because I lost you when it felt like you were waffling and waffling and waffling. So the sales pitch that you have when you go to a client,
Yes.
like you said, we are clients, we are investors. That's what you should have delivered for us. But well done.
Okay, thank you. Actually, I'm an investor. I've been investing in projects for some years. Also for 2 businesses. So I wanted to diversify away to go into commodities. So when I actually look for companies to buy gold, there was no company that does what I'm doing. So I thought to myself, why don't we sell our own business? But we thought it was going to be easy. But after doing some research, yeah, it was hectic. But finally, yeah.
How do people find you?
We've got a website. We do promotions, as I said, every month. Also, I've got some business cards. And finally, a business partner today, he was having a meeting, interview so we can open an office in Khayelitsha here.
Our next picture. Does that not sound weird to you when I say picture? I'm always thinking of a kettle. Our next pitch for tonight, we'll hear from Asanda.
Evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Lutando. I'm presenting to you GoVarsity. GoVarsity is an application that offers clear, precise information for high school learners in preparing them for university. What actually we found that learners from the disadvantaged community struggle when they get there, not because of their ability, but because of not knowing the environment itself, the lifestyle, what is happening. They end up changing from one course to another, drop out, struggle. So we found that there is a problem that needs to be addressed. And there are programs out there, but one thing though, they only reach a certain number of students who are regarded as the top students, but don't reach the masses. So everyone now owns a smartphone, so we thought, okay, let's develop the application whereby high school learners, even feature phones, it can also be accessed with feature phones, whereby high school learners can access the application through their phone and get every knowledge they want, the assistance from those who are already there and who are already working as professionals. Because where I'm starting now at university, it's not, I wouldn't like my brother to go through the process I went through. So I'm willing to do anything for him, like supporting him whatever way. So using GoVarsity application is the platform that is open for such mentorship, such assistance, the career options, the course contents, like everything they need to get up and going at university. Thank you.
And you did it in half the time. Questions?
Okay, greetings. You just asked me to stay. I'll over here. My name is Andreas Puma. I hear you speaking about internet application. Do we get this application on the most, not famous, but the notification platforms like Android, iPhone, and the platform for BBM or BlackBerry? Secondly, is this application for free or do you pay a certain amount?
Firstly, the MVP that we've developed, it's a web movie that we use a Android theme, but can also be accessed in the HTML, in the feature phone, but it slightly changes the layout, the user interface. But that's where we go in the future, having a downloadable application in all the streams from Windows to Android to and others. But now that's where we're focusing on having a movie site. In terms of payment, we wouldn't ask learners, like students or high school learners, to pay for the application because no one knows what is GoVarsity right now. So universities will be the ones paying us in distributing their content. So actually now they are our customers, high school learners, our users. So yes.
Hi, my name is Unati. I'd like to know how to make money.
As I said, we will be asking universities. Universities are going to be paying us for distributing their content, and also each and every student that applies through our application, there will be a certain commission amount we'll be getting from that also, and through also advertising, but that's not what we're looking at in the first stages, and also companies who are offering bursaries and stuff like that, and also who want to reach out to high school learners, will be the platform for them to reach to them. That's our revenue.
Hello, my name is Taro. I want to know whether you have a target market, which grade you target or just target high school.
My target market is a high school learner, from grade 9 to grade 12, starting like reach out Khayelitsha, the Cape Flats, the whole South Africa, the whole Africa. That's where we're looking at in the future.
Thank you. My name is Khayelitsha from SBYTA. Thank you for what you have for presentation. Actually, it's a good application. But now, from my own point of view, I do not know about the application. Probably representing many other people out there. Now, my question is, how are you marketing your application to the people?
Okay. I just finished developing an MVP, which is it's on the user testing phase, which we're using like schools from Khayelitsha, like in letting high school learners and playing with it. So by like August, it's going viral, live, and also like starting with our own like marketing strategies.
All right, okay. So again from Oxford. I'm trying to sum and it sounds like it's too big for me, but you gonna dissect it pretty further. The question for me to you is that this app has been done before, and Khayelitsha, I think, is due to provide as well in the morning. And also there are other avenues that have already started with such innovation. And how are you planning to build them? And yeah.
Okay, at first, that's a very good point you've raised. It's been done before. Everything we're using, it's already out there. But now it's the complexity that we've seen, and also like deciding what is best for high school learners. Now on our application, we're using high school learners in designing it. What do they want? Because you'd find out, if I'm researching about engineering, I have to read textbooks at this size. I have to go to the libraries. I have to like do stuff which I find boring. Now, if I'm asked what do I want, I'll tell you, I want pictures, I want videos, I want small text. So now in our application, that's why we're having, we're distributing the information in terms of pictures, videos, and slides, small text, experiences, sharing, engaging, and talking. That's where the world is going today. That's the platform we use.
Okay. My question is only this one to you is the student, I don't have a smartphone or what's so-called whatever, and I'm from the disadvantaged community, and the only thing this thing my concern, how will I access, like what kind of assistance will I get from you if I don't have those kind of things?
Okay, for instance, now we've like spoken with schools as like our targets, and they even went about being interested in like using the application in their life orientation classes for career guidance classes and like in labs. So even like in school during the school period, the application can also be used. But what I found in the research we made that everyone now in high school owns a cell phone, a feature phone, has a Facebook account, and so like using those stats, we know that actually those guys have cell phones.
Woohoo! Right, and if you have any more questions, please, feedback, please, post on Twitter. Up next, we're going to hear the pitch from Siyabulela.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. How are you today? Everybody's good? Let me start this by a question. Did you know that there's actually wealth in waste? Did you actually know that there's gold in recycling? Let me explain. Kylie has about 1.2 million people, and these people, they make 4 kilograms of recyclable materials per week. Now, turn that to a monthly basis, this adds up to 25.6 million kilograms of recyclable materials produced by Khayelitsha alone.
step. Now, what do we do in order to take care of this waste? At the moment, not very much. A lot of the waste that is produced by Khayelitsha is taken to landfills, which is more hazardous for the environment. You can walk down the streets of Khayelitsha, you will see them littered with papers, plastic bags, which could be used for recycling. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Wandi Silengaget, and the name of my business is Elima Green Solutions. Elima Green Solutions actually empowers members of the community to collect recyclable materials in exchange of shopping vouchers. Now, why shopping vouchers? They're good for the people. While they're collecting those recyclable materials, it actually creates a clean and a healthy environment for them. But what's more importantly, we actually putting food on many poor people's tables. Food on the table for many people. Now, moving to the financials. Elima Cleaning and Recycling, Elima Green Solutions has 27 people that's working with them. We make an average of 40 tons. This is 40,000 kilograms on a monthly basis. This adds up to 15,400 brands. We only need 120,000 to build Khayelitsha's first buyback center, Khayelitsha's first recycling buyback center. And when we employ 5 more guys, and this will actually in the next 2 years, we can actually hire 5 more guys. 24, that will increase our collection capacity into 20%. Have that 20% now, we'll be able to earn 18,480 rands on a monthly basis. Investing on Elima Green Solutions is not actually investing on the gentleman standing here before you, but investing on Elima Green Solutions is actually investing on the Khayelitsha itself. Investing on Elima Green Solutions is changing someone's life. Let's change everybody's lives, people. Let's green Khayelitsha. Thank you.
Question.
That's my boy.
That's your boy.
I know that you are where you have 7 employees, but then how do you do that? How do you employ? Who do you employ? Can you assist me in that? Thank you.
When we started the business, we were actually lucky enough to find out that the Khayelitsha has a network of 400 recyclers, a huge network, and we managed to talk with a few cooperatives which are in the Khayelitsha and actually are doing those recycling. So when we say we're employing those people are actually the people were actually recycling for themselves, but they were actually taking that money and taking it away from a Khayelitsha. So what we did, we try and build up into a small network that will create a spider web token for the people in Khayelitsha, so that the money that is actually produced by Khayelitsha actually stays within Khayelitsha. So we've gotten those people from that network. If you look at the LSM, the living standard measure, they reside in standard measure 1 and 2 most of the time.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Zondi. I just want to find out from you. First of all, I just want to say bravo, my brother. That's a great idea. I just want to find out, it's the first time I'm hearing of such, and the waste around Khayelitsha has always been one of my concerns. How do you, it's the first time I'm hearing of such a company. How do you plan on it, putting it out there so that people can get livelihood from your business? As you say, you're giving out vouchers. So how are you putting out the business out there so that everyone will know and participate in greening Khayelitsha? Because most of the people, like myself included, I would like to contribute towards greening Khayelitsha, but as for the food voucher, you can give it to other people. Thanks.
Well, it always, why not a lot of people know about it, it's a strategic move, since it's a new business. We're only, 12 months old, 13 months old, so we're still a new business. So we don't want to bombard, we don't want to ask a lot of people like Khayelitsha to, it's just, we're still on a piloting phase just to see how everything works out. And on top of everything, we do not yet own our own land, you know what I mean? So, you know, we cannot actually ask everybody to come and bring out those recycled materials whilst we do not have a land to keep them there, you know. So at the moment we're taking baby steps so that we won't have high supply and high demand, and we not be able to supply our services. So it's a nice strategic marketing tool that we're using up until we have a capacity to maintain the whole large number of people. Then everybody can actually participate. But we do have our social media. We are on Twitter. On Facebook, Solutions on Facebook, and you can contact me by email. And I use this place as an office space. And Twitter, what's our Twitter handle? We just did it today.
Evening to you, sir, and congratulations with your venture thus far. I have heard you speak about food vouchers in exchange, I would think, for supply of, I would think, the recyclable. The immediate question that I have is, how are you going to curb these recyclables coming in and the food vouchers that are going out? Have you in fact done this before, distributed food vouchers, and how is your company looking at curtailing such a thing, knowing that so many of the inhabitants within Khayelitsha do not have that food? How is it that your business is going to curtail that and still make a profit at the end of the day? Thank you.
The food vouchers, yeah. With the food vouchers, as a food buyers, we are working with Pick and Pay. They're helping us with the food vouchers, and also working hand in hand with the local supermarkets within the townships themselves. But only just a few. And we're also using a business model that has already been proved to work at a township called, what's the township called? Official, by the company called Trash Bag. So it's something that's already been tested in the market, and it's already been shown that it can work. On top of that, on top of everything, in terms of the amount of food vouchers that you get, it highly depends on the amount of recycled materials that you actually came up with. So the amount of food vouchers that you get is equivalent to the recyclable material that we have, you know. So it's like when someone goes to a buyback center and give them 2 kilograms of recyclable materials, and they get 5 rands. Instead of giving them 5 rands, we give them 5 rands of food vouchers. Because what we understand is, if somebody who's poor, highly vulnerable, goes to a buyback center and gets 5 rands, that somebody will be a victim of crime. With those food vouchers now, it limits the chances of them being robbed, because these food vouchers are specifically targeted for that individual. I think I'm explaining myself. Thank you.
Hello, this is Tabo again. I want to know why, how many, the strategy, is it working? How many people that have actually come with you with the food vouchers in return for, I mean, recyclable materials in return for food vouchers? Yeah, that's my question, and if it's the strategy working, yeah.
Yeah, sure, man. We worked with 8 people, and what we've seen, it was cool. It was okay. But the thing is, since we do not have the land, so everything is sort of like limited. So everything we do it at a small scale, just growing the things bit by bit. But the specific number is actually 8.
Good evening, everyone. I have a question for you. So what I want to know is basically like from where you are now at the moment. So what is it that has worked for you up until the stage that you are now? That for someone like me that's in the networking, in this kind of environment. So what can you advise me, like, to motivate me? Some sort of things like that.
My man, I'm not one of wise words, but what I can say is, one thing I've understood is there's an African proverb that once said, if the root is in the ground, like deep in the ground, no hazardous wind can actually shake it. You can always withstand those. So it goes back, if you really believe in what you're doing and you know the cause, and you have a purpose, you know what I mean? So nothing, even everybody, there's always will be problems in business, in any kind of business. Everybody will find problems. But if you believe in what you're doing and you actually have, you want to just pursue your goal, no matter what happens, you will always achieve your goals. That's the only thing I can say. Believe me.
Okay, so just to go back to your programs, I just want to make double sure that the people that we were anticipating earlier on haven't arrived. So Sipho Mashiane is still not here? Is he here? Okay. Sipho, would you please come up? Okay, and then while we wait for Sipho, I'm just going to go through the order of the pictures that we've heard tonight. So number 1, we heard from Alfred from Currency. Currency? Onthout. So you see Alfred, that's your number 1. Number 2, we heard from Lutando from Go Varsity. Please write his name down, he's not on the program. Right, number 3, we heard from Siabulela. Right, please write his name down as well. So where Tanyan was, but just remember the order. So you just use some space on your program, let's be creative. Okay, so number 1, Alfred. Number 2, we heard from Lutando from Go Varsity. Do you need programs?
No,
is it, but it's Ilima. Okay, all right. Can we say Ilima? Yeah. Great, okay. All right, fantastic. Let's put our hands together for just a couple.
Greetings, ladies and gents. My name is Tito Msuludi. I'm from PBC, Peninsula Business Club. Peninsula Business Club, it's a business consortium that we started in Caltech. After we've noticed that South Africa is sitting at 24.5% of unemployment, and about 800,000 of those is undergraduate. Most of the businesses that are funded by venture capital companies are mostly started by university students. So our university, they don't have programs that promote entrepreneurship. So we started PDC to promote entrepreneurship, to create job opportunities. Students, what they're looking for is funding. Venture capital companies are looking for ideas, and PVC is opportunity. It's an industry-based implicant that takes students and introduce them to venture capital companies. We've got learner programs. We've got about eight programs, 8 divisions that focuses in all entrepreneurial studies. Engineering students, they are only taught mechanical stuff, electrical stuff, and civil stuff. They are not taught business, but that means the universities are not preparing them for cases of them not finding a job. So within universities, we are running
innovation clubs that promote this innovation and that introduce them to entrepreneurship. We've got classes that run Monday to Friday within universities. And by next year, we are planning to go into 25 universities in South Africa. The one in Pentec, it has been tested. We have adopted schools in Khayelitsha. We have adopted businesses in Khayelitsha. And then these students, they get to apply what they learn in class, because this is another thing. You have students from Eastern Cape coming down this side to study. And then at the end of the day, they'll be forced to go back without applying what they have learned. Most of these graduates, they go and work in Boxer. Somebody who studied marketing and engineering, Boxer or Shoprite, and they'll end up for the rest of their lives, they'll be doing that. But PVC, it gives them opportunity to interlink, to network, because we've got networking session every Friday in each university. And then September time, we get to introduce these students to venture capital company, working with us. We've got 2 businesses that we have matched in one university and 1 student.
Hi, my name is Unati. I love your idea and I think it makes sense to me. But what I'd like to know is how do you make money? I really like to ask this question. How do you do it?
Okay. We are currently working with 2 lawyers. And then these lawyers are protecting students' intellectual properties. So from each idea of a student, PVC gets 5%. So that means now if you take Facebook, because most of the companies that are listed in United States market are mostly started by students at the university level. So you can just imagine in the next few years if PVC can own about 5% of all students in all universities across South Africa. And that's a lot. That's a lot. Currently sitting in Pentec with 1,500 members, and we started this year. So.
Good evening. I hear you talk about universities, students, also high school level. But then that entrepreneur or natural to be entrepreneur, where do you put myself? I want to be in this program. I don't have all of these fancy things that you mentioned, like to hook up with you. But then I'm staying in location in Khayelitsha. I want to be in this program. I want to be hooked up in your company. I'm not educated, and then I'm a natural born entrepreneur. Where do you put me in your program?
We're currently planning to expand to townships, but we can only do this with the support of government. And because currently in Pentec we'll be running innovation competition, and then the first prize is 20,000 for students to get to pitch their ideas. But now for us to expand to townships, we are going to need sponsors. If we can get government on board, then that's when we can come to township and get these guys in the township who are not working to come up with ideas to develop their community, and then at the same time try to generate money for them. We can start to make it, start at first as a competition, have classes maybe once or twice a week, then you'll be covered.
Firstly, I like your sneakers, Doug. So you mentioned quite a large number of students that you have within, I'm assuming it's a database, yeah? And you guys literally just take 5% of equity from each and every business that is coming onto your platform. How are you surviving now? That's why I mentioned your sneakers. How are you surviving now?
I'm actually CPUT, because if I can tell you now, in the past I've been winning innovation competitions. CPUT, ever since they started with their innovation competition, I've been scooping the first prize. Western Cape, I did the same thing. I've been taking the first prize in the DDAT competition that they had. In the past few months, I also won first prize in TIA funding, seed funding. So there are a lot of ideas, but now we are just trying to show these students that ideas are there. We are privileged to be in South Africa. We are privileged to be in Africa. We've got a lot of problems. solution can be turned into a business model.
So quick one. So to kind of, and this is a piece of advice, use it or don't use it. The biggest and your biggest pot of gold is the people that you have in your database. And to me, I do not understand why you're not making money from having that amount of entrepreneurs, or whatever the case may be, in your database, because that's your equity, that's your pot of gold. And if you were able to then take it a step further to say, this is what it is that we're doing, this is how we're supporting entrepreneurs, go to a company and say, look, I've got 20,000 of these guys sitting. What have you got that can be able to speak to these guys? And for me to be that middle person, this is how much I will charge you. With that type of a number, I know for a fact that there's so many other companies that want to get into varsities just to speak to the people that you have already. Why are you not capitalizing on that? Why are you going into competitions when you've got a pot of gold that is sitting in your laptop?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tika Machoba, and I am CPUT alumni. The first question that I have for you is that I see you mentioning Pentec, and it's actually CPUT nowadays. So my first question is that, are you only focusing on the Belleville campus, or are you focusing on the whole of CPUT? This year actually, it's quite amazing. This year, I looked at my first year or my second year as an alumni. I looked at what is happening in the university at home, and I actually work for University of Stellenbosch Business School, and I see the difference between the two institutions, how big the gap is when it comes to taking care of people who've been at the university, when it comes to CPUT and tapping into companies. So I think it's just a word of advice to you that you should most probably try to work with the Career Services Office at CPUT, because if I could say it, it's non-existent. So you just help them maybe to try and source companies to come, and look for students, because there are companies looking for students there at CPUT, but they do not have the necessary middlemen to try and do that. Yeah.
And just to add on that, we also have a division that places students. Now we actually placed about 4 students, and one of them, he got a permanent post. And these students are actually placed without interviews, because if you're a PDC member, either with business or you as an individual, you are backed up for life. You don't have to worry about legal fees. You don't have to worry about getting a job, because we can place you. We are also our company is going to take 10 students for in-service training. And University of Technologies in South Africa, they're actually failing to place students for in-service training. You take Pentec, for example, CPUT, mechanical engineering students. There are students who can sit for 4 semesters without finding a place to do their in-service. Companies are just not taking them. So we start companies, and then we take these students to train them so that they can get their diplomas. Thank you.
Hello. Excuse me, just one last question, my friend. I don't know if there's another one behind this, but yeah, excellent business model. And hello. I think my one concern is just finding out, you're taking the first prize on every business competition. I assume they're not each week or each month. So your margins on a monthly basis and the profitability of the business on a monthly basis, because I think that's one of my concerns in asking each month, how profitable is the business? What are the margins of this business if you're currently relying on taking the first prize? And the last one is, please stay behind. I'd like to learn how to do that too.
BBC, it's a pool for venture capital companies. So by September, we are going to start about 10 companies for students. That's CPUT alone. Currently, we have started 2, and I happen to own 40% in those companies. I've got we also have high-tech products that are coming into the market next year. So I'm currently working with Adaptronics Lab, and then they are manufacturing our smart USBs, which are going to enter and taper the market next year. And then we also have smart devices that we have designed. And this is just for PVC, because we get time to sit as PVC members to design products, not for our companies or our businesses, but for PVC. So PVC is also making its own thing, and then companies within PVC are also doing their own thing. And then if you are a member, because you get a student who has a nice lucky idea, but it needs IT, then you're doomed because you know nothing about IT. But within PVC, you'll get somebody, you'll sign a confidential letter because we've got 2 lawyers. So we are covered. That guy, so your intellectual property remains your intellectual property. And then we try to work our heads out to come up with a nice legal strategy to take your business further.
Okay. Just not to waste time. I'm so proud and I'm so happy of the work that you're doing, Brother Tito. And congratulations to you and to the guys. I would like you to please share with the guys the one idea that you have done and it's worked. And right now it's already in the market. Thanks.
One idea that I have designed is what we call a smart USB. What it does, you are in a university, we happen to lose USB a lot of times, with assignments, thesis, you name them. But now, our USB, the one that we have designed, if you leave, you exit a 2-meter range, it automatically locks itself and it sends a signal to your phone. If you don't use a phone, it's a wristband-based, we have a wristband-based flash drive. So that if you leave a piece, because the flash, you take it out of this wristband, which also happens to be a watch, and then if you leave it behind, then this bracelet is going to start vibrating, and then it's not telling you that you have left your USB.
Wow. Okay, our last pitch for tonight, I'm going to ask, and I'm trying not to be unfair, but we're going to just try to ask that the last pitch for tonight, if we can keep the questions to a maximum of 4, please let's feed into our Twitter feed. And that also gives you an opportunity to have talking points with people later on. So if you have a question, please put it up on Twitter and engage with the person, or engage with the person who's come up and given you an amazing pitch, and you still want to get to know more about them. So those are talking points. Use that. Our last pitch for tonight, we'll hear from Lulu Maroza from Maroza Hair Natural.
Oh, still count to speak after the guy like that. Yeah, okay. Thanks for inviting me, a friend of mine, on this event. This is a very powerful event. Okay, my name is Lulu Maroza. I run 2 companies, but I've got one that is my baby, like the other one is also my baby. And then they both from Glass Marketing and Communication, which is my company. What I do, I'll talk about one, which is the hair care products, which is called Maroza Hair Care Products. Yeah, we started 6 years back, 7 years back, and I've been in the hair care industry for many, many years. You know, I've seen them coming and going, help big companies, and today I'm owning a company called Maroza Hair Care Products. We specialize on hair care, from shampoos, conditioners, treatments, silicons, and we currently we have like a shop called New Cosmetics, which sells a lot of our products, you know, because they are the hub where we manufacture, and then we put it in their wholesaler, and then they take it from their wholesalers and they sell it to their stores. And Yeah. I've got so much to say, but you know, if people around the question is easy, then I'll be able to answer them.
Yes, sir. I'm Spusi Sombolego. I'm not your friend now. I just want to check, you just mentioned that you've been in the game for a while.
Sure.
I know your history, that's why you're my friend. But then I just want to know, because I know there are a few things that a couple of people can learn from you. Like you said before, you worked for big companies. What made you decide to start your own company?
What made me decide to start my own company? Okay, you know, when you work with a company, you see yourself sitting on your boss's chair. I used to pick up my boss, Herman Mashaba, for Black Lives from the airport, and then he said, "Lulu, this week let's make $1 million." And then he used to drive it, you know, we go to Clicks offices, ShopRite offices, wholesalers, and so on. And then he will tell you, okay, you're almost there. Wow, we made more than $1 million in a week's time, you know. And then that was one of the reasons. And then another reason, I've seen that I can do it for big companies. I've worked for Dark & Lovely, and I started scratch with them. You know, where we had a small office where we started from with 3 guys. And we started with that company. Today it's a multi-millionaire company. And I always say, no, man, this thing I can do it for myself. And when you look at what you're doing and want to do it for your bosses, and then tomorrow you say, no, I can do this. And at times you tend to give and show them ideas, and then some ideas they take, some ideas they don't take. And then you still say, you know, these guys are missing something. And that thing which they highly begins around to us, because I've done it in the past, I know what I'm doing, and I've got the people that can believe it. If this thing is it should work. And again, you know, working with hair care products, it's nice because it's not like you are a promoter promoting something that you don't know or you don't use. You are able to test it on you are able to give your friend, your sister, your brother, and then they'll test and use it, and then it says, okay, yes, or I say, and then if it does work, and then you know what to do, you know what to change. That was one of my reasons.
Hi, Lulu. I know this guy for 15 years now. We've been together for a long time, from PE. Thank you for hookup dinner. I was looking for this guy for 2 years. I just wanted to say that I couldn't with the whole thing because we have connection from the hair care. We are competitors, but friends as well.
Thank you. Once again, I'm Khayelitsha, now from Venom Dreadlocks. I've seen this guy several times inside B. You know, there's other guy, Kona, from the container inside B, I should say. Now, gentlemen, we have Marosa. We do use Marosa, the product. Actually, we recommend it to the customers. But now the issue is like we are the one marketing your product. You do not market the product yourself. We've seen Dark & Lovely producing something like calendars, posters, everything. But there's nothing for Marosa. Actually, we are the ones doing the marketing. And now I want to ask you, we are informal traders, informal marketing a product. What do you have in store for us? We are marketing a product. Thank you.
Okay. You know, I want to say this to people. Ima Rosa was started bedroom, you know, not like a company where there was a group of people or just 2 people or 3 where they put money, and then there's a department of marketing, department of this and this, you know. So my main focus was to give you this Marosa, and you are helping out about Marosa, using it, and you can able to take it to your next customer, to your next friend. That was our ultimate goal, because we never had a budget for marketing. We never had a budget for calendar. Our budget was for Marosa to work. And then that was one. And then part of that was also to say, even if you can see our packaging, but I knew one day my packaging will be right. I never had a lot of things, I just had a label as a fan card where I'll say, okay, people should buy this, and then whatever I get incoming money, I'll just make sure it becomes the real thing. Today, you can put Dakin Lab the next week, and you can still compete. You can put Java Store, but I know for sure with it, you will see that coming the calendars, the aprons, and so on, and the T-shirt. We're waiting. So.
Evening. My name is Nadi Mamakule from Sodom Tower Attachments. I would like to ask you, I hear you say you've got a different product and what, how do you differ from others? Because they come and go, as you said, and others, they spoil our heads. So how do you
Okay. There's the camera. I want to say this to people. My product, yes, and even my cousins and my younger siblings at home, I always say that to them. There's what, you don't only manufacture, but you also decide who's going to buy it and how they're going to buy it and what's the end benefit of the person that Tatimaga pays for my product. So I always say this as well. It's like Hubspace is the same, but it differs what's the editing from one product to another. SD is like bread, for example, that will have a whole wheat and they specialize in whole wheat. Or raisins, they specialize in raisins. No matter what, it's 90% of the product is a natural blend. And with natural blend, whether you can be a South Africa or America, if olive oil, it will be olive oil for life. If it's coconut oil, it will be coconut oil for life. Knowing the benefits of what the product does, and you blend it together. Next question.
Last question, please. So what's your name again?
Lulu.
Lulu. And I'm sorry, and I'm gonna, if you allow me to speak freely, sir, okay?
Sure.
It seems like a lot of the people in the room know who you are, they know who your product is, and they've probably used it because you're operating in the environment. But to be quite frank with you, as a stranger who does not know your product, to be honest, I don't know what you do. I know that you do hair products and so forth, but what is it? I hear you talking about Maronza. I don't know how much it is. I don't know what it does. I mean, I'm a male, doesn't work for me, does not work for me. That's why you see me cheese popping today. So to be quite honest with you, I've heard you talk and you've spoken all this time, but I still don't know what is it that you were pitching about today. And even if I had money, my king, I understand your story, it makes perfect sense, but if I had money right now, I would still not invest in you. Why? Because still, I feel like you did not deliver a pitch. And to what? What is it that you were kind of pitching there? I'm still lost. So I would have appreciated you kind of giving us a sense of, if we are strangers, what is it? What does it do? How much is it? Where do we find it? And to the point. Everybody else knows it. We don't know it. So I appreciate
it. Okay. Mainly, when I design and look at models, I have a segment that I look to, and I speak on that segmentation. And that's what Marosa is to me. And you'll notice who is responding to you, like male and who uses it and who does not use that. But
who is that?
Okay, sure. Where is that available? Who is that? Let me answer that. Mainly we're targeting ladies who are using, who have like natural hair, and the dreadlock salons, the cosmetic salons, and currently that's where it's available cosmetic stores and salons that are doing dreadlocks. containers and so on. Thank you.
All right, let's give him a round of applause. Okay, so let's round up. Everyone still has their program? Yes? Yes? All right. And let's just round up and just make sure that everyone's name is where it should be. We heard first from Alfred. Then we heard next from Lutando from Go University, Go Varsity. Then we heard from Lima. Then we heard from, I'm tempted to say Tsidiso, Chito. And then our last pitch for tonight was Lulu. All right, on your programs, you'll notice that there's space for you to rank. Please rate your best, what you feel is your best pitch for tonight, and then we'll come around and collect your programs. I'd like to just remind everyone, just before we move to this next segment of the night, if you haven't yet gotten your food vouchers, please do so. It's just efficiency, you know, get the thing, get it done, then you know what it is that you're ready for actual eating. That admin is done. And also, if everyone could just come closer, find a place to sit, just so that the atmosphere is nicely, beautifully and relaxed. I don't like seeing people sort of huddled and looking tense. All right. Alright. Okay, so as Level initially introduced the evening to everyone, the hookup dinner is a three-part experience. So the first part of the evening, obviously, is just experienced the pitch from entrepreneurs. And all these challenges and all of the feedback and all of the questions and all of the things that you and I have identified from hearing and listening to these people speak this evening. Sorry, just going to derail. Sorry, gentlemen in the corner. You know, yes, thank you. So all of these experiences that our entrepreneurs, whether it be it that their businesses have been around for about a year or less than a year if it's an idea, all of these insights and how we are feeling about the spaces or the period in which you are in your journey, it's always best that you hear it or you're exposed or you hear feedback from someone who's already walked this journey. This evening, our rainmaker for tonight is Peter Shrimpton, and he's walked a remarkable journey. I'm sure if you've gone onto our website or you've gone onto RSVP or just to hear about what the hookup dinner is, what the reason why it is that you're here tonight, ultimately, read the backstory. It's an incredible journey. And it takes someone with incredible amount of perseverance. And that, I believe, is what makes an entrepreneur a successful person, a successful social asset, a successful, even what you do with your capital, what it is that you do with that profit is what it is that will make you a different kind or a different fabric of an entrepreneur. And that's what I believe is where we should be looking at as a people, just regardless of where you are in the world, looking to be a different kind of, or have a different fabric of an entrepreneurial spirit, where it is that your success yields not just the success of your own financial pocket, but the success of your environment, your community, your ecosystem, and your ecosystem even in terms of the relationships that you have. I'd like to just not waste any more time. I'd like to invite Peter Shrimpton to come up to the stage.
Hello. Hello, everybody. I must say that I'm so excited and so happy to be here. Thank you guys so much for coming out to Khayelitsha. We really, really do